As the role of artificial intelligence and the need to better manage and integrate real-time data continue to grow in government, so do the challenges of cost effectively and efficiently accessing, managing, and processing all that data securely and driving innovation. After years of moving data operations to public and government authorized clouds, agencies are coming to terms with the escalating costs, latency, and complexity, which is changing the landscape for many folks. I'm Wyatt Cash with Scoop News Group, and here to talk about this evolving landscape is Allen Hill, Chief Information Officer at the Federal Communications Commission. Allen, thank you so much, as always, for joining us.
Great to see you again, Wyatt. It's always a pleasure talking with you.
So first, I'd like to start with what types of IT use cases, including AI, are getting your agency's most significant investment focus, IT investment focus, and how do you see those investments bringing greater innovation to the FCC's mission?
One thing I'm excited about is the administration emphasizing the use of AI, where our focus has been prioritizing our investment on force multipliers, where it helps us streamline, things like repetitive work, focus on our teams to be able to focus on high impact, mission driven activities. And an example we had where my team did the comment analytics and data duplication service system. And that was a cloud-based AI tool that focused on public comments. What was so beneficial about it, it identified where we had, exact duplicates of comments. That reduced our workload, and where our attorneys were looking at information, they can see that these were all the same. It also provided insight and analytics, but the most impactful statement is it reduced 96% of the manual workload that would have normally been into if we had not had the tool in place. So that really is a multiplier for us. My team is currently using it right now to help with, doing code analysis of our legacy systems. It helps us identify the patterns and even the modernization pathways that we can take to modernize things. And so transition agent applications to the cloud, a lot of those technologies that were in the data center that we had, and moving them to the cloud, they're not clear pathways anymore because they're so old. And so we use this to help us map dependencies, to validate the configurations, and figure out what is the best path to move things. And that helps us move in a much more rapid fashion with much more confidence and able to get into a secure cloud environment. Example, an operating system, if you're updating a technology and operating system, we have like Solaris, and moving that to the cloud, Solaris is not supported in the cloud. So finding how to move that into the cloud using a technology that's available in the cloud that's supported, in addition to all the software built on top. So that helps us figure the pathways, vice mainly going through the process. It also it brings innovation, allowing us to move faster, leveraging AI and the decision-making ability. We were able to deliver much more reliable, responsive digital services that are focused and aligned to FCC mission and the needs of the American people.
Well, moving from innovation to infrastructure, I'd like to get your thoughts on how do you see the respective strengths of public clouds compared to private on-premises clouds in your ability to, securely manage and control proprietary or sensitive data across your agency, especially as agencies are looking to continue to adopt AI?
Well, in the case of FCC, we're a small agency relatively. Other agencies, private clouds make sense, but those are investments, and they have the large data sets and information that needs that kind of capability. For us, we're taking an approach. So when I joined FCC in August of 2022, I said we're going to take a FedRAMP authorized approach using FedRAMP cloud services. They provide security rigor and operational scalability that helps FCC meets its mission requirements. FedRAMP is mature today in comparison to the past. It provides baseline controls. It gives us the continuous monitoring capability, and it's also third-party assessed. And so that takes a workload from the life cycle of doing ATOs. All those things takes a long time to do. Well, we reduce our burden by using FedRAMP services. And this is, in many cases, when you're trying to take something that you have to deal with all the infrastructure and get that ATO, it's a lot more rigor and discipline needed to ensure Vice leverage a FedRAMP solution that we can use pretty much out of the box. For an agency our size, it's just not practical to sustain an on-premise infrastructure. We have, large scale data intense type needs and workloads. Maintaining physical infrastructure, it comes with the burden. The patch management, the vulnerability management, hardware lifecycle refresh. It's big CapEx type requirements, the 24/7 monitoring needed, and it really stretched resources thin. And so, for us, I made the decision to get out of the data center 3 years ago so that we can focus on mission needs. In contrast, FedRAMP service providers, they provide scalability, that can help us move quickly. They have built-in redundancy, high availability, and the disaster recovery. So that's a benefit for FCC in trying to maintain our data center, and our backup data center is expensive. And in a FedRAMP environment, it gives us, security observability. It's in the cloud. We were able to see detailed information, centralized identity management, and bring unified monitoring of both NetOps and SecOps. So we have better governance and able to respond to even incidents if something occurs.
And as agencies, have to start looking ahead and dealing with the growing volume of data, security logs, all the things that you have to now keep track of, how do you view and how do you plan for the likely expansion of operating costs, and also the effectiveness of being able to operate in the cloud versus having some control when you're on premise and you're sort of managing those expenses? How do you see the differences?
Well, in a data center, it's a CapEx heavy model, and that is not a consistent budgetary. The first thing that happens in budget cycles is anything that is considered like a CapEx investments. Those are the things they look at cutting. And that brings where we have, it's why we're in the position we are in today, where we have technologies that are end of life and they have not had those steady investments. So you move into an OpEx brings the steady investment. And so when we go out and buy services in an OpEx model, that allows us to scale resources based on real demand. Legacy infrastructures, you typically overbuild them because you have peak usage, and so you got to you have more servers and more provisioning of resources because you don't have that scalability. In the cloud, we're getting an elastic infrastructure that expands and contracts on demand. COVID was an example where those that were in the cloud, they were able to expand to demand and contract. On-premise data centers, they have those hardware refresh. You also have to have the staff to manage that hardware. The physical security of it, patch management, power and coolant, all those things got to be accounted for. And so those are long-term costs. And so I very much believe in embracing everything as a service. That business model the cloud providers have brought has allowed us access to technologies as they evolve, vice long cycles in a data center that you don't have immediate access to. So those we're able to continuously evolve our capabilities as mission needs change and technology changes. Cloud makes it easier for us. We can right size the compute, the storage, and AI services dynamically.
In light of the new budget pressures that all agencies are facing, where do you see opportunities for IT cost savings, and how are you planning ahead for that?
Budget pressure is always pushing us to sharpen our focus on value. We are actively always consolidating and rationalizing our applications. We've already eliminated about a third of outdated to duplicative systems and over the past couple of years. So we're prioritization a managed service approach that's based on service level by the costly bespoke O&M contracts of the past. The most critical opportunity is to move off the legacy technologies and architectures. We're not targeting just outdated systems, but we're also looking at our cloud deployments that were lifted and shifted years ago. Those are also need modernization. When you look at the technology stack and move away from that infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, that was the thing of the past, moving to more software as a service, microservices, service environment, low code, no code type. It reduces our complexity. From a technical engineer person, I have less keystrokes now, and I'm able to deliver capabilities faster. Hybrid cloud approaches gives us flexibility. We can keep the sensitive or performance critical workloads in secure environments while we're still able to use cloud and burst in capabilities as needed as peak demand occurs. And we don't over provision like we've done in the past in a data center.
And then lastly, moving back to AI. So what are your thoughts on the most significant issues or gaps that still need to be addressed at the FCC or in government generally to take fuller advantage of your data's potential and the use of AI in general?
Well, I love that question because that's a continuum in terms of challenges, no matter where you sit. Data quality and interoperability, I think, are probably two key gaps that have to continuously be addressed. Unstructured data, in consistent formats, they bring challenges, and AI is only as good as the data that's given to it. We need to be better metadata governance, making sure we have real-time validation baked into our data platforms, pipelines. I'm sorry. Our workforce is also I've taken my team, I've sent them to some training to help them understand how to deliver AI from the programming aspect to building it out. And we want to make sure that the team is skilled to be able to use the newest technologies. Procurement cycles is always a challenge. I'm looking forward to GSA and what it comes up with its new authorities, and really do a agile type approach would allow us continuous delivery. Finally, we can't truly leverage the full capabilities at FCC of our cloud providers until we're completely out of that data center. We're really close, and we're almost there. I would say that we don't want to just take an application by application approach to modernization. That's how we ended up in these IT silos. We are evaluating what is the ideal architecture that will deliver the FCC services of the future. And 2 or 3 different types of architectures, I think, that would be the ideal candidates to do that. I'm excited to see when those lights are turned off in the data center. People say that we've moved pretty fast over the past couple of years. We're 94% out of the data center. We're down to the last few systems, and we're nudging really close to it. And with that, you're gonna see us hit ludicrous mode on modernizations once we're completely out.
Well, I know it's been quite a journey for you these last couple of years, and all for the benefit of the FCC's staff and your end users as well. Well, Allen Hill, thank you as always for taking a few minutes to kind of share your perspectives on a variety of topics, including infrastructure and AI. Really appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much.